Item 10, conduct of business. First item A, receive a report and provide direction on the reimbursement process for replacement of upper sanitary sewer laterals in the Crestmoor neighborhood.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Harry Burrows, and I'm the city's project manager for the Crestmoor Reconstruction Project. The item that's before you tonight is to seek clarification and final direction for the upper sanitary sewer lateral replacement program in the Crestmoor neighborhood. Particularly, we want to discuss the guidelines for reimbursement to residents who have either performed or will perform the replacement of the upper laterals using their own contractor or plumbers. On October 22nd, the City Council of last year, the City Council approved the upper sewer lateral replacement program in the Crestmoor neighborhood. Since October of last year, staff has sent out two copies of the same questionnaire to all of the residents within the Crestmoor neighborhood. And the purpose of that is to better understand the conditions and ascertain which residents wish to participate in this sewer program. Specifically, have they replaced their sewer laterals already? Do they want to have their sewer laterals replaced? And if they do they wish to do that on their own using their own contractor or plumber, or do they want the city to do that for them? So the results of the questionnaires to date, we've received 285 responses. Of those, 143 wish the city to perform the work. 26 elect to have their own contractor or plumber perform the work. 36 have replaced their laterals since September of 2010. And 65 are in what we call the undecided category, or they're awaiting final television, closed-circuit television inspection of their sewer laterals, and or a meeting with the city representative to discuss what their options are. We also have received 16 responses from residents who replaced their laterals prior to September of 2010. So the staff report has a lot of detail related to the proposed guidelines for the reimbursement for the cost of the sewer laterals. Essentially, we've got three different cases. Again, owners that are planning to hire their own plumber and contractor to do the work, owners who have previously replaced, and then the third category is, as I said previously, people who have elected for the city to perform the work as a future project. So just in summary, these are the highlights of the proposed guidelines for owners wishing to hire their own plumber or contractor. We would seek that, or ask them to seek three distinct estimates from licensed plumbers and contractors. Want them to submit those estimates to the city for verification prior to performing the work, prior to contracting with that plumber or contractor. The reimbursement will be limited to the amount of the lowest bid. They can select any of the proposals that they've received. However, the reimbursement is proposed to be limited to the lower of those. The method of construction will be the trenchless or the pipe bursting method. Again, we recognize that there are some unique circumstances where this might not be feasible. That's where we're going to ask the plumber contractor to have that discussion with us prior to performing the work, so that you know, we understand and agree that the trenchless method is not feasible. The reimbursement will include surface restoration of areas required for construction. I'll get to that here in a second with another visual. And we ask that the owners submit a signed affidavit and receipts and proof of payment prior to reimbursement, or as a condition of reimbursement. And just to spend a quick second on the limits of surface restoration for reimbursement. These four different categories are meant to illustrate some of the conditions that are out there. Hopefully they encapsulate a majority or 99% of the instances out there. You've got the upper left-hand corner, which is a typical concrete driveway. Again, the idea is to excavate in the areas highlighted in red. That's where the plumber will then do the pipe bursting in between those two areas, connect the pipe at the house to the existing sewer pipe, and at the new clean-out right behind the sidewalk. So that's, that shows for a concrete driveway. The other instances to the right show a decorative driveway. The bottom left is for lawn and landscape area, and then the bottom right is for paver blocks. Obviously, there's going to be some unique circumstances in the neighborhood. We're well aware of that. For example, where you've got decorative paving, and it may not be feasible to do the pipe bursting. It may require open trenching. It's going to be hard to match some of that unique decorative paving that's out there. We'll have to deal with those cases on an individual basis. But in general, what we're proposing, the guidelines include, is that the driveways be replaced to the nearest score line, the nearest expansion joint in the driveway. And that's illustrated here on this drawing as well. The next case is owners who have already replaced their laterals, and this is for work that's been performed after September 9th of 2010. It's proposed that homes that have been fully reconstructed after the fire are not eligible for reimbursement. The reasoning for that is it's assumed that the reimbursement for that upper lateral was part of their settlement with either their insurance company or with PG&E. Only the incidental surface restoration, similar to what was shown on the previous slide, would be included. For example, no complete driveway replacements would be included in those costs. Again, we'd ask that they submit a cost summary from their contractor as well as a signed affidavit with receipts and proof of payment. And then the third category is owners that want the city to replace the lateral, the upper lateral. That, given you know, that we have 143 responses to date and anticipate more, probably, you know, at least 30 or 40 more of those undecided will elect for the city to do the work. You know, that's a large project. The city doesn't have the luxury of going out and negotiating with individual plumbers and contractors. We're going to have to treat this as a public works project. So we need to put together a design and a bid package to go out to publicly bid this work. We're currently in the process of developing that design and bid package. The work is expected to occur late this summer and will happen throughout the fall into the early first quarter of next year. And the idea is that once that's completed, we'll dovetail the last reconstruction project, which is the streets, curb gutter, sidewalk, and street lights. That project would happen after the completion of the sewer lateral program. So that's it for an overview. Welcome any questions or comments that the council may have.
Any questions at this time? Ken?
I'm assuming that the non-respondents, 72 of them, they still have until June of 2017, or, you know, close to that time to even come forward.
So we're actively following up with those non-respondents. Like I said, we've sent 2 questionnaires to date. The first went to everyone. The second questionnaire went to the non-respondents at that time. We've been following up with door hangers and other avenues to seek you know, information from those non-respondents.
I know you're dealing with a lot of residents, and so there's probably going to be some backlash on the fact that the people that lost their homes probably looking for reimbursement. Has there been any comments on that as far as, no, my settlement did not include a new sewer lateral? I'm also concerned about some of the people that are that have already done the work and probably don't have as accurate of documents that you're looking for. So are you looking at a, you know, a reasonable reimbursement amount that, you know, or negotiate a reasonable amount? I'm just trying to anticipate that, you know, it's not all going to be clear cut here, that there's going to be some residents who are going to say, no, I can't provide that, or I don't understand why I don't qualify.
Well, I think to answer your first question related to the homes that have been reconstructed, I believe we've received requests from 5 of those individuals so far to be reimbursed. Again, going back to the first time we brought this item before the council, I think staff's recommendation was similar to tonight, that it not be included in the reimbursement program. But you know, obviously we're hoping to get clarification on that here. In terms of the lack of records, I certainly think that most individuals should have at least some information from their contractor. A lot of folks, I think, have gone back and asked their general contractor to split out the cost for those sewer laterals. So, I mean, I certainly think that we would require at least some documentation for reimbursement.
If I could just jump in here, I think your question also pertained to those who otherwise did the work prior to, since September of 2010, but prior to the program being announced. And obviously, staff will need to work with those individuals to just make sure that we have a reasonable paper trail that shows a reasonable cost for that work having been performed, and we'll have good experience in understanding what the typical cost of various types of improvements are. So I don't anticipate there being a huge problem with people submitting documentation and are being able to accept it. I would just note regarding individuals who have not yet responded, there's some 70 or so of them, that should they wish to participate in the program, sooner is better in terms of providing that response, and we would request that people do respond as soon as it's practical for them, in order that we might implement the program in a seamless manner. And lastly, we would certainly not be able to extend the program all the way until June of 17, particularly for people who wish to have the city replace the lateral. There will be a defined time period during which, once we get a contractor on board, that contractor will be operating. And so there will come a time after we let the contract where it will no longer be possible to join in. So again, people who want to participate should let us know sooner rather than later.
If I could just follow up, I'm just concerned that, you know, out of I believe 18 how many new homes that have been built, obviously 5 have come forward, and as a designer of one of the new homes, there was not a requirement to replace the sewer lateral, and so I'm not aware of whether or not that was part of the settlement. So, I mean, the contractor would probably be able to answer that better than I would.
Well, the upper lateral wasn't existing, so it was required to be built with the new home. All of the new homes that were reconstructed, the upper laterals were gone.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Any other questions for Harry? There you go.
Hi, my name is Larry Fiorinelli. Harry, I have a question for you. This was the first time I heard about it could only be trenchless. It never was brought up before, laterals. Is that true now? You can't have a trench going through there with a cast iron pipe?
No, what we're saying is that is a preferred method of construction. That's what we want the plumbers to bid, unless they tell us that it's not feasible. So trenchless, the pipe bursting is feasible for both Orangeburg pipe, clay pipe, as well as cast iron pipe. But in 99% of the instances that we've seen up there so far, the existing laterals are Orangeburg. And so the trenchless method we think is feasible, except for cases where the video shows a dip or something in the line.
Okay, so I have to go trenchless?
Well, yeah, trenchless is the preferred method for ease of construction and lower cost. Okay?
Well, I've already had 2 estimates from not trench, and they were just about the same.
Okay.
The same cost, and I kind of like the cast iron more than I had questions about the pipe bursting too. I don't really like that idea. But am I not going to get reimbursed? I won't go with that.
Well, the other factor is the surface restoration. Are you looking at, you know, a landscaped area where just replacement of sod or lawn, or are you looking at replacement of hardscape?
Right. So I'm still confused. I don't know if I have the option or not to go one way or the other, both ways.
Again, I think like I explained earlier, we will look at variations to that on individual cases.
Oh, so you're going to look at individual cases?
Yes.
Okay. I thought from what your proposal was, it just had to be trenchless, so that was it.
That's what we're asking the preferred method be.
Okay.
But we will
So you're
consider,
asking that. Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think obviously the trenchless is going to do a lot less damage to any kind of hardscape, so if we can get by with that, that's really the way to go. So, Rico, you had a question?
Yes, sir. A few questions, just for clarification. We obviously said that the permit costs would be waived for all projects, and obviously, okay. As far as notification to those that have still not responded, I just wanted to make sure that there was some, so that we feel good about that the word has gotten out, whether, I don't know if it's a certified letter, that it has a deadline of response. I just somehow want to know that we don't have somebody after a said period and go, I didn't know. So I really hope that we would go to the extreme to feel very confident and very comfortable that they've had that opportunity to respond. Is that going to be done? Is being done?
We have not sent to date certified letters. That's certainly something that we can do. Like I said, we've sent 2 notices out via regular mail, and we're now in the process of doing door hangers for the non-respondents. So certainly the next step after that could be a certified letter.
Okay, and just as you can understand, I think why. I'm wondering, as far as us going out to bid, obviously there's going to be insurance requirements. There's going to be, we're going to require a warranty of some timeline. I mean, everybody does it differently. So is there something that, since the city is going to be paying, that we're ensuring we're getting quality work, quality vendors up there, as well as a warranty, because everybody varies in that. So what are we doing in that respect?
It would be treated as a typical city public works contract. The standard insurance requirements, warranty requirements that are on any city public works contract would apply.
Okay, and as far as warranties are concerned? Or is that also included
Correct.
within that public works? Okay.
Correct.
I'd asked you this before, but as far as who's videoing the lines and who's viewing the video to make the determination, and if there's a determination made that there is no repair that is needed, is it still going forward to be repaired or to be replaced regardless?
In terms of review of the videos, to date, staff has, performed the videos. JMB Construction, who is doing the Phase 3 construction work in the neighborhood, they have performed video inspections, or will be performing video inspections of all the sewer laterals in the neighborhood. They've essentially completed them to date. There may be a handful that are still left to do. Staff is reviewing and has reviewed a bulk of those. Part of the guidelines, we ask that the plumber contractors who are going to do the work, who are proposing the work, that they review those videos. We want them to actually, sign a piece of paper that acknowledges that they have reviewed the video, so that they understand what that sewer line is that they're replacing. In terms of the replacement, I believe that the program essentially stated that all of the upper laterals, if they were Orangeburg pipe, were eligible for replacement.
Okay. So my understanding too is if we're hiring a service to actually video it, we're not having the same people make that determination.
Correct. They're just providing the raw data.
Okay. And on the driveways that have the decorative, obviously that's going to be one of the issues. because obviously we see a small area, maybe 3 feet or something, and obviously you might want, it's going to stand out. They may wish a bigger patch, maybe they don't. But at some point, some cities will say, we can go ahead and move that out to the sidewalk. Is that permitted here, or is it not, if that question comes up?
You mean move the clean out or the point of connection out?
Correct.
I would have to defer to the Public Services Director, but I don't believe that that is something that, we typically want to have, particularly a clean out in the sidewalk. It's a path of travel, a walkway, potential tripping hazard.
I can see maybe that question being raised only because of the cost and the investment that folks have put in, and obviously it's not, no matter what you try, it's not going to match. So, that's my question.
And that's where I said we're going to have to deal with some of these on an individual basis. Where we replace this panel, for example, this one in the upper right-hand corner, if we were to replace just this section here between the score lines, which is what the guidelines currently propose, yeah, there's a likelihood that might not exactly match what's out there. However, we have found out that through staining and acid washing and other things, you can get a pretty close match to the existing that's out there.
Okay.
Anything else? Action by the council? Yeah. I think staff has done a really great job on this, considering all the little idiosyncrasies that are involved in this. I just want to make sure that, as the Vice Mayor said, the people that have not responded, we have a deadline there someplace, and pretty emphatically know that they want it, they don't want it, or they've received this, because we don't want anything to hold up the streetscape improvements and everything going down the road. We just don't want to dig up this neighborhood any more than we have to. So that's my direction. Anyone else?
I agree. I think it's very thoroughly done, and I read it 2 or 3 times and didn't have any trouble understanding it, so I would go forward with it. The only thing I might say is that, I don't know if you want to kind of waste your time putting up door hangers. A lot of people don't respond to those. You might just go ahead and go with a certified or registered letter or whatever the thing is. And of the 70 or so people who haven't responded, is there a percentage that the people who are actually in the homes are renters? And maybe that's not, I mean, that might be a factor of why you're not getting the responses that you would think you would already. So that just a thought, and the rest of it I think is really well done.
Anyone else? Michael?
I would just say that, well, I agree that you want to make sure everybody that wants to participate is included. A lot of what I heard in our interactions with the public is that they want to see this finalized, and they want to start getting the work done. So anything else that we do to increase outreach, I think, is fine, as long as it doesn't impede the progress of what you have here. I think this is really good, so let's get it out there and get it started.
Ken?
I'd just like to add that, I mean, since city's reimbursing, that, they don't think that the residents that don't respond or don't make a decision feel that they can wait until, mid 2017. I think it's very reasonable for the city to set an absolute deadline, and whether that's end of 2015 or something, so that you make a decision, or else you lose the chance of, reimbursement.
Okay. Rico, anything?
I think everybody has said it. So once action is taken or direction is given, how long do we see is this getting prepared as far as the timeline to go out to bid?
So in terms of the guidelines themselves, assuming that we get direction here tonight, we're prepared to make any revisions you have to the guidelines or not, and get those distributed out, immediately, to the neighborhood. And so that'll cover the 2 cases of people that are having the work done or have done the work. And again, in the case of the city doing the work, we're in that process right now, putting together the bid package, and anticipate that that construction will begin late summer and last through the fall into the early part of next year.
Okay. Do you feel you have the direction you need? Okay. Go.